Talk to me a little bit about first big crowd. I'm curious when that would have happened and where that would have happened. You mentioned, taking some matches in the Boaz and Albertvilles of the world. Do you remember your first big crowd?
I would think it would probably be working for Bob Armstrong during that 3 week. First time I was there for the 3 weeks. I would imagine it would have probably been Birmingham, which would have probably, looking back on it, been 5,000 people maybe.
Wow, that's a big crowd.
Yeah, it sure was. It let me know pretty quickly that I was on the right track for wanting that as an occupation. It is just, there's nothing like coming through that curtain and having that audience, and in those days, if they didn't know you, they still reacted to you if you were positioned where, let's just say, the babyface came to the ring, Brad Armstrong came to the ring, or Bob Armstrong, more importantly, came to the ring, and then you came out, then they knew by process of elimination you were the bad guy, even though they didn't know who you were, and it just made it easy to do your job.
So 5,000 is a big crowd. Let's go to the other end. Do you have any memories of any particularly small crowds?
Well, again, first starting, those are small Alabama towns. The first few I went to, there were some 100 people. It looked like a lot to me at that time because I was so overwhelmed, but I didn't know how to judge it or gauge it one way or the other. Also, there probably was a night or two that it was 50 people, but it was, those 50 people were there because they really wanted to be, and they were very passionate. I do remember that, and their reaction, it didn't feel like 50 people, felt like a lot more.
When you were talking about, coming through the curtain in Birmingham and there being 5,000 people there and you felt good about your choice in that profession, do you remember little things like the first time you saw yourself on a poster for a show or in a program or on TV? Does any of that stick out?
Yeah. I mean, when Ted was getting us booked, especially on Atlanta TV, we would be able to, because it was tape delayed, you would tape it in the afternoon, early morning, afternoon, and they would replay it at 6 o'clock that night. So we could hurry back to Rome and see ourselves on TV. And buddy, we were running 100 miles an hour up that highway. It was like, we're going to be on TV tonight. I can't believe it. And then you would see yourself, and I know I did, God almighty, the critique would set in and you would go, damn, I do not look good. Not only that, I'm not good. And you would really critique yourself and rake yourself over the coals. I don't know what I was expecting. I didn't know if there was, through some miracle of television, I was going to look like Elvis Presley up there or something. But that's not the way it came out. And it was just, I could tell, how green I was, and just, I was not happy with anything. And in reality, if you were a third person looking at it from the outside, you might not have been as critical of Marty Lundy that day, but I know I was. It just, it was amazing to see yourself on television. You never thought that would happen. And then when it happened, you went, ugh, I got to get better. I got to get tanned. I got to get some nicer gear, and probably ought to establish a move set at some point.
It's a big deal though to be on TV, and you talked about her a little earlier. Is Granny excited to see you on TV? This was like something she would have gathered all the neighbors around for.
I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure she even watched.
Wow. All right. Did you keep any of your old stuff from back then? Any old programs or posters or any mementos from your early days?
Well, I wouldn't have made any of those, with the exception of, again, when I was at the 3 weeks, I keep going back to the 3 weeks with Bob Armstrong because that was kind of a launching pad. He brought me in. I wrestled him most of that time. And so I did make some of the local, I'm sure, like the Dothan program and Birmingham, some of the bigger shows, but I didn't collect any of those. I was too just focused in on, God, I'm here. I'm here. I'm actually doing this every day. And that kind of consumed more than, hey, I got to get a program as a souvenir and all that stuff. It was just like, how can I make this last longer? How can I stretch this out? You know, I was just overwhelmed by the business.